Animals can really surprise us with how clever they are. One small cat came to a fish store with a leaf, and what happened next amazed everyone. This little cat had been visiting the shop for several days. Marcus, the owner, loved animals and told his workers not to chase the cat away. Just let him be, Marcus would say. He's not bothering anyone. The cat would sit quietly in the shade, watching through the glass window. He seemed to be studying how people acted inside the store, but when Marcus or workers tried to get close, the cat would run away. He didn't want to be touched. He was just there, watching. It looked like he was learning how people paid money to get fish. Cats have brought small gifts to people for a long time, ever since they started living near humans. When a cat likes you, it might bring a dead mouse to your bed or drop a toy in its food bowl. These animals are smart, and they know how to get people's attention. This cat wouldn't be different. He came to the shop so often that Marcus and regular customers started calling him Whiskers. Whiskers was always calm, and his good behavior made people happy. Then one day, something amazing happened. For the first time, Whiskers actually walked into the shop. He had a leaf in his mouth. People in the store looked over as he quietly joined the line with everyone else. He stood there waiting his turn, just like other customers. He didn't push ahead or demand anything. He just watched people give money and leave with their fish. Then the line moved forward, and so did he. When his turn came, people felt nervous and curious about what he would do. Some shoppers had bought their fish, but stayed to watch. "Well, I'll be," one customer whispered to another. "Look at that little guy." It was clear this small cat had a plan. He jumped onto the counter and carefully placed the leaf in front of Marcus. Then he waited, eyes bright, body perfectly still. It only took a moment for everyone to understand. He was trying to buy a fish with that leaf. The room filled with laughter and wonder. He had seen customers give paper money, and to him, the leaf must have looked similar. He wasn't being sneaky. He wasn't trying to steal the fish and run. He was offering what he had the way he understood it. A fair trade. He wanted food just like everyone else. Marcus looked down at him. This tiny cat, standing there with a leaf like it was valuable. How could anyone say no? "Well, little guy," Marcus said with a smile, "I think we can make a deal." Marcus bent down, chose a small fish, and gave it to the cat. Whiskers looked thrilled with his reward. He took the fish, ran outside, and sat down to enjoy his earned meal. Everyone who saw it couldn't stop smiling. It was one of those wonderful moments that stays with you. The story spread quickly among customers, and people kept talking about the smart cat who came to buy fish with a leaf. Nobody thought it would happen again soon, but they were wrong. The next day it happened again. Marcus was working in the back when a worker came to find him. "Your favorite customer is here," they said, grinning, "and he's got his payment ready." There was Whiskers, back in line, leaf in mouth, waiting patiently for his turn to buy more fish. Marcus couldn't help but smile. He was happy to serve him. Marcus's family had owned that fish shop for many years. When he was young, he would go on fishing trips with his father to help catch what they would sell later. Marcus took over the fishing, and his dad stayed back to handle customers. Over time, they built up the business slowly. Now that Marcus was in charge, he still went out on the boat once or twice each week, but most days his crew handled the catches. Through the years, their customers had gotten to know them well. Some had even watched Marcus grow up. But even with all those years and faces, nobody had ever been as faithful as Whiskers the cat. Rain or shine, hot or cold, Whiskers came every single day. Some days his leaf would be wet and droopy from the rain. Other times it was just a small piece because the rest had broken apart. Still, without missing a day, he came to buy his fish. Rain or shine, there's our boy, Marcus would tell his wife. Never misses a day. Marcus began keeping a small fish, ready just for him. And on days when Marcus wasn't there, his wife and workers all knew exactly which fish to save. It became clear that Marcus had grown very fond of his little customer. He often thought about Whiskers' life. Away from the shop. Where did he sleep? Was he safe? Was anyone caring for him? Finally, Marcus decided he couldn't just keep wondering. He had to do something. He chose a quiet spot behind the shop and made it into a comfortable place. Just in case Whiskers wanted it, he put a covered cat bed under a protected corner with a water bowl and some cat food. Whiskers still got his daily fish, of course, but Marcus thought he might enjoy something different sometimes. And even though the cat was starting to look healthier, Marcus knew winter was coming. One fish each day wouldn't be enough to keep him strong when the weather got cold. Marcus lived right next door so he could look out the window to check on Whiskers. And when he finally saw the little cat curled up in that bed, sleeping peacefully, it felt like a big win. Look at that, Marcus told his wife, pointing out the window. He's using the bed. Marcus's wife and the shop workers couldn't help but smile, watching him. It was kind of funny, seeing this tough fisherman get so excited over a tiny cat. But that's exactly what was happening. And even though she kept it to herself, Marcus's wife had already begun preparing for the chance that when winter came, they might have another furry family member moving. Still, nobody could have guessed what was coming. Before the cold weather really arrived, Whiskers didn't always sleep in the little shelter Marcus had built, but it was clear he knew it was there for him. That was important. He had a safe place whenever he needed it. Most days, even if he didn't show up in the bed, he still visited the shop like clockwork, leaf in mouth, ready for his fish. Then, one day something felt wrong. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much. Marcus had been out doing errands most of the afternoon, and he didn't return to the shop until just before closing time. As soon as he walked in, his heart sank. The little fish he always saved for Whiskers was still sitting on the ice, untouched. That had never happened before. The staff hadn't seen him all day. It hit Marcus hard. Something was definitely wrong. The cat hadn't missed one single day in more than 2 months. Where could he be? Has anyone seen Whiskers today? Marcus asked his staff, already knowing the answer. No, boss, one of them replied. We kept looking for him, but he never showed up. Marcus didn't waste any time. He kept the shop open an extra hour, hoping Whiskers might still come by, but he never did. He checked the shelter out. Back, empty. The water and food hadn't been touched either. Marcus felt worry building in his chest. He walked around the block, quietly, calling for the cat, looking in small corners where he might be hiding. Nothing. Then he got his car keys and drove around the neighborhood, headlights scanning the streets as evening got darker. He called out as he drove, slowing down to check every place a cat might hide, but it was no use. Eventually, he had to go back home, heart heavy, hoping there was some harmless reason for Whiskers's absence. That night, Marcus barely got any sleep. His mind kept worrying. His wife tried to comfort him, saying the cat would probably appear the next morning like always. Marcus wanted to believe that, but when the next day came and the fish was still sitting there untouched by noon, his worry turned into real panic. Something's happened to him, Marcus told his wife. This isn't like him at all. His wife took over at the store and Marcus went out again, determined to find the little cat. The staff promised to call him the moment Whiskers showed up, but that call never came. And just like Marcus feared, something was wrong. Somewhere out there, Whiskers was in serious trouble. Marcus was frantic. He drove around again, stopping often, searching every place he could think of. Alleys, under porches, behind buildings. He knew Whiskers wouldn't have gone far. He never had before. But now it seemed like he had disappeared. The hope Marcus had been holding on to started to fade away. Whiskers was so small, and the world felt so big and far too quiet. Then Marcus drove past a park, and something made him slam on the brakes. Just off the side of the road near the grass, he spotted a little bundle of fur that looked way too familiar. His heart sank. He had been hoping to find Whiskers, tucked away somewhere. Maybe hurt, but still okay. But this small shape wasn't moving. Marcus' chest got tight as he got out of the car, dread growing with every step. Any other day, if it had been a different animal or just a random piece of fluff, Marcus might have driven past without thinking twice. But not today, not with that color, not with Whiskers still missing. He had to. Well, he walked closer, holding his breath. And then there he was. It was Whiskers, but Marcus couldn't tell if he was alive. Just as fear started to take over, the tiny cat lifted his head just a little bit and looked up at him. He was alive, but barely. His body was covered in cuts, and one of his legs looked completely broken. The other was twisted badly. It looked like he had been hit by a car and then left by the side of the road. Marcus felt his heart break. What could he do? Technically, this wasn't his cat. Whiskers had just been a regular little visitor, not someone's official pet. But standing there, thinking of that sweet face, of the leaf he brought in every day, Marcus already knew his answer. "Don't worry, buddy," Marcus whispered, carefully lifting the injured cat. "I've got you now." He gently picked up the injured cat and rushed him to the vet. He didn't care what it would cost. This little guy had worked so hard just to earn a fish each day. He mattered. Marcus wasn't going to abandon him now. The vet examined him right away. It wasn't good news. Whiskers had deep cuts and bruises everywhere, and both back legs were damaged, one broken and the other badly twisted. Surgery would be necessary, and, even then, getting better was going to take time. But the vet team believed there was a good chance he could survive. "We'll do everything we can," the vet assured Marcus. "He's a fighter." While Whiskers stayed at the vet clinic for treatment, Marcus went all out trying to find his family. He just couldn't believe a cat this gentle and smart didn't belong to someone. But after a complete check, they found no microchip. Posters were hung up all over the area, and calls were made, but nobody ever came for him. It was hard to accept, but it seemed like Whiskers really had no home to go back to. At first, that made Marcus sad, but as the days went by, a different feeling started to grow. Oh, Marcus had never owned a cat before. He grew up with dogs and didn't know much about cats at all. But this little leaf-carrying fish buying cat was special, and Whiskers seemed to feel the same way. Every time Marcus visited, the cat would perk up and try to get out of his cage just to reach him. He would snuggle into Marcus's arms and stay there, completely relaxed. Marcus liked to think that Whiskers cared about him, not just the pieces of fish he brought every day. The way the cat responded to him, the trust in his eyes, the way he calmed down when Marcus held him, it felt deeper than just food. They were getting ready to bring him home, to make him part of the family for good. But then a phone call changed everything. Someone called and said they thought Whiskers was their missing cat. "We think he might be our Luna," the woman on the phone said, her voice full of hope. "She disappeared months ago, right around when you said this cat started coming to your shop. Their cat named Luna had vanished months ago, right around the same time Whiskers first started appearing at the fish shop. It was possible, they said, that he had just been lost all that time. They sent over some photos and, honestly, the cat did look a lot like Whiskers." Marcus tried to feel happy for the cat. After all, finding your original family should be a good ending. But deep down, he couldn't deny it. He had been looking forward to bringing Whiskers home. It already felt like Whiskers belonged with him. The day before Whiskers was supposed to leave the vet clinic, the family came to meet him. They were hopeful, excited, but things didn't go the way they expected. The woman looked at him closely and said, "He doesn't look exactly like Luna." Still, they tried to explain it away. Maybe the accident changed how he looked. Then the vet opened the cage, and Whiskers darted out straight into Marcus's arms. He didn't hesitate. He didn't even look at the couple standing nearby. When the woman stepped forward to pet him, Whiskers backed away, and when she reached out again, he hissed, "Luna, baby, don't you remember me?" The woman said softly, tears starting to form. That shocked everyone. This was a cat who had always been calm and polite, even around strangers at the shop. Was painful to watch. The woman was crying, leaning into her husband, whispering that she couldn't believe their sweet Luna would act like that. Didn't make sense. If this really was their cat, wouldn't there be some recognition, some sign of comfort? That's when the vet decided to ask about their cat's medical history. And that's when the truth came out. Luna, their missing cat, was a spayed female and had been microchipped as a kitten. But Whiskers was a neutered male, and had no microchip when they first brought him in. As much as the couple wanted it to be true, Whiskers wasn't their cat. "I'm so sorry," the vet said. Gently, but based on the medical records, this definitely isn't Luna. It was a difficult realization. They searched for Luna for months before, eventually adopting a rescue cat. As for Whiskers, his choice was clear. Marcus was his person. When he was finally cleared to leave the vet, there was no question where home was. They drove back toward the shop, but Marcus didn't take him there. He took him next door to the house. "Welcome home, Whiskers," Marcus said, carrying him inside. They'd prepared everything, a soft bed, with warm blankets, toys, and a heated pad for the cold winter days when his wounds still ached. What caught his attention immediately were the toys, especially a soft little fish he carried everywhere like treasure. That first winter they kept him inside, worried he might wander off again. But when warmer weather came, they let him explore. He wore a tracker, though they hardly needed it. Whiskers only ventured as far as the fish shop next door to visit Marcus and greet customers. "There's our celebrity," customers would say. "The cat who pays with leaves." The cat who once traded a leaf for food now had everything. A warm home, all the fish he wanted, and most importantly, a family who loved him. What more could any animal ask for? Did you enjoy this story? If you found Whiskers hurt by the road, would you have helped him even though he wasn't your pet? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Kindness to animals always comes back to us in the most beautiful ways. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.